Number 5. Scientists at IBM have made the smallest movie ever. The 200-frame stop-motion film entitled A Boy and His Atom, which you can see, uses discrete atoms composed of carbon monoxide moving around a copper surface to draw a stick figure-like boy that bounces on a trampoline and plays catch with an individual atom ball. For you to be able to see this with your eye, this has been magnified 100 million times. The scene was made using a scanning tunneling microscope, or an STM, which has been in use for nearly 30 years. The atoms were moved using a tiny robotic arm only 1 atom wide, and all of this was done at incredibly low temperatures, such as negative 268 degrees Celsius, or 450.5 degrees below zero on the Fahrenheit scale. Number 4. Do you hate doing laundry? How about ironing shirts? American manufacturer Woolen Prints have invented a shirt that stays clean and odor-free after 100 days of rigorous use. The shirts are made of wool which lasts 6 times longer than cotton. Laboratory tests have shown that wool fibers resist tearing and can bend back on themselves more than 20,000 times without breaking, compared to cotton, which breaks after 3,200 bends. However, these shirts are not yet available for retail sale. They are available for investors at a starting price of £63. The retail sale date has not yet been announced. Number 3. The inside of your palm, or more specifically, the vein layout within your palm, is unique to you and only you. In fact, it is more unique than a fingerprint. Modern technology is beginning to take advantage of biometric scanners. These scanners use infrared illumination to highlight veins within your palm. More specifically, the deoxygenated veins absorb the light, while the rest of the hand lets it pass through. This gives you a black and white image with black lines signifying where the veins are. These can then be compared to a record for a user to identify them. Because a person's veins cannot be seen, and because they cannot be lifted like conventional fingerprints, they are much safer, and companies, more specifically banking firms, are beginning to implement this technology into their ATMs to prevent fraud, a multi-billion-dollar industry. Number 2. Researchers from North Carolina State University have invented self-healing stretchable electrical wires. These electricity-conducting wires contain a core of liquid metal, a fluid alloy of gallium and indium. When the wire is cut, the liquid alloy oxidizes, forming a hardened crust. Think of it in the same way the blood clots to create a scab, so that a human does not bleed to death when cut. However, the liquid alloy isn't the only amazing thing about the wire. The outer polymer is also self-healing. When the two severed ends are placed against one another, the sheath reforms its molecular bonds, healing itself. This self-healing wire isn't limited to your standard two-way connections. By cutting the channels strategically, the pieces can be reassembled in a different order to form complex microfluid networks in 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional space. Number 1. A warp drive to achieve faster than light travel, a concept popularized in television Star Trek, may not be as unrealistic as once thought, scientists say. A concept for a real-life warp drive was suggested in 1994 by Mexican physicist Miguel Alcubierre. However, subsequent calculations found that such a device would require energy equivalent to the mass of planet Jupiter. However, modern day advances could allow it. By making the ring more of a donut instead of a flat shape, the energy required can be reduced to the same size as a Space Voyager 1 capsule, launched in 1977. An Aquaberry warp drive would involve a football-shaped spacecraft attached to a large ring encircling it. This ring, potentially made of exotic material, would cause space-time to warp around the spaceship. With this concept, the spacecraft would be able to achieve an effective speed of about 10 times the speed of light, all without breaking the cosmic speed limit. This is because space-time is not governed by the speed of light, and by shrinking the space in front of it and expanding the space behind itself, it is technically pushing itself without moving.